Rivers governor says government will not pay for police arms. Rivers State government asks police authorities offending officer to pay for the arms. Rivers State government says it is not prepared to pay compensation to victims of police arms. Instead, the state government directed that compensations to be paid to victims of acts of violence, torture, brutality, murder, and violation of fundamental rights committed by the Nigerian police should be paid by the police authority or the officers who perpetrated the offense. The decision was taken after the five-man committee set up by Rivers State Governor Wike submitted its report to the Executive Council at the Government House, Port Harcourt, on Wednesday. The committee was set up to formulate a draft white paper on the recommendations of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry that investigated brutality and violation of fundamental human rights to citizens by the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad (SARS) in the state. Briefing journalists after the council meeting presided over by Governor Wike, Rivers State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Zaccheaus Adango SAN, stated that compensations to victims of police brutality should be paid by the police authority or the officers who perpetrated the offense and not the state government, because the police is not part of the state government. Executive Council has already accepted the conclusion of the White Paper Committee that compensation payable to victims of police brutality should be paid by police officers who were found culpable or by police authorities, because in law there is no way you can hold the state, which is Rivers State, accountable for the acts of police officers who are not agents of the state. And so, as far as the issue of compensation is concerned, any compensation payable should be paid either by the police office involved in those acts of brutality or by the Nigerian police force. Wow, the Attorney General explained that the Executive Council also directed his office to liaise with the judiciary in ensuring that quarterly reports were submitted to his office in respect of provision under the administration of criminal justice law. According to him, some of those provisions required that on monthly basis, the Commissioner of Police informs the Attorney General about the number of persons held in police custody and the reasons therefor. He said Council directed that Public Defenders Department, by which is established and be established in all 23 local government areas and officers posted therein, in order to make access to justice easier for indigent litigation who cannot afford to retain service of lawyers. The public defender essentially undertakes litigation on behalf of the indigent litigants who cannot afford to retain the service of legal practitioners, and so Executive Council has directed Attorney General to ensure that counsel in the Rivers State Ministry of Justice are posted to the 23 LGAs to man the office of the public defenders, so those counsels posted to those LGAs can take up matters by indigent litigants because they can't afford to retain the services of legal practitioners. The Attorney General further explained that the Executive Council directed its office to publish a white paper based on the recommendations of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry and transmit same to Police Headquarters and the Rivers State Police Command for necessary acts and action. The Attorney General has been directed to publish a white paper containing the conclusion of the Governor of Rivers State on recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry and transmit that white paper to the authorities of the Nigerian police for necessary action, because the Commission of Inquiry had made several findings, implications of some police officers in the serial acts of brutality and violence against citizens of this country. Yes, according to what Wike has just said, which is very, very true. The police force is not under the state government, it's under the federal government, and which of the federal SARS, which is the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad, it has been indicated, which is FSARS, which is the federal special anti-robbery squad. So the state government cannot, just in its own mind or in its own ability, pay ransom or for the brutality the federal SARS have committed in the state. Yes, despite them being in the state, does not really mean the state governor will take responsibility of crime committed by those federal SARS, the ones that are culpable, because they have destroyed so many things. Before the before the protest in 2020, October 20, before the protest came up, the federal social anti-robbery squad have been tormenting innocent citizens of the nation of Nigeria all over the state. They have been harassing them, doing all sorts. What they have been doing is not even part of their job, and they have been harassing so many people until that protest came up, which is supposed to ban FSARS. And thank God the government has banned FSARS. There's no more federal special anti-robbery squad, but they are going to inculcate in them into another agency or security agency now. Thank God. So for federal government to ban FSARS, it simply means it is the duty of the federal government to be culpable or to pay for the victims that were affected through those their officers, which is the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad. According to the state government of Rivers State government says it is not prepared to pay compensation to victims of police arms. Instead, the state government directed that the compensation to those victims of acts of violence, torture, brutality, murder, and violation of fundamental human rights committed by the Nigerian police should be paid by the police authority or the officers who perpetrated the offense. Most people do not like this Governor Wike because they said he is too blunt. Yes, on this issue, they may not really like the man, but it is true that he's saying the truth. It's not, there's no mincing word. Federal government should be culpable to compensate the victims of the federal special anti-robbery squad. Somebody says, who will pay for civilian brutality to police, state or federal government? Abi police no get rights? Police has rights, but the federal government will do that because if it was to be in a sane country, police does not even have right to molest its citizens. You understand? And in other words, they are supposed to be insured. Even their lives are supposed to be insured because they are working for the federal government. It may be the federal government is supposed to be responsible for every act or every indictment the federal SARS may lay onto the citizens or otherwise. What about the policemen killed by civilian? That's the same thing I've been saying. Federal government should be liable. Who will pay for civilian brutality on police? Federal government, definitely. If I should say my opinion now, some of you who are not ready for the truth will start to attack me. If you carry out investigation on the police brutality in Rivers State, you will find out that the Igbos are the most victims. That is why the governor have taken the stand of not compensating the victims. Believe me. Well, the Igbo, the Hausa, or the Yoruba, depending on whoever is affected, the federal government is liable to do the compensation, to pay the compensation to any victim. What of the compensation paid by Wike to the policemen killed by NSAS protesters? Are those policemen and army men in Rivers, are they Rivers State officers? Double standard is what is killing Nigeria state. Everything is politics. Well, that is your opinion, but in a nutshell, there are bases, there are policies set under which Governor Wike paid those men of the army or police that were also, you understand, also a victim of that NSAS. But notwithstanding, on a true and a general sense, the federal government is liable for any federal agency, which is either a federal SARS, police, Navy, Air Force, Army, or whichever. So it is the duty of the federal government to do such. If you want your comment to be heard, you quickly punch into the comment section and lay your comment. Thanks for listening and God bless.